Pace for Life is a not-for-profit organisation that reuses pacemakers in the developing world for impoverished individuals. I myself am 35 years old. I studied chemistry at university and have had a career of over 13 years in investment banking. Came about this really because I've wanted to do something a bit more entrepreneurial. I went to Startup Weekend London last year in March, and having listened to the plethora of ideas that people had, I thought Pace for Life was the strongest idea I had, and I've never chased money in my life, and I thought it was best to go with the best idea, and that's what I did. I managed to form a small team together. We went through the whole weekend, and on the Sunday night, out of 25 teams, we came second, and that kind of convinced me to kind of take a year off work and try and launch this. I thought it was actually a simple idea, and as time has gone on, I've discovered that it's a little bit more complex. I was planning to go to Sri Lanka and India for my friend's wedding. I was a groomsman there. I'd even got him and his wife together, and before I knew it, I was applying for Startup Chile, an accelerator run by the Chilean government, because a friend had got in there recently. I applied, and in August I was running around the house and then ringing my friend and telling him actually I couldn't come for the wedding. And before I knew it, in October I was in Chile watching my friend's wedding on the iPad over FaceTime.
So you missed it all before you started?
Yeah, I missed his wedding, and I missed giving him away as I was groomsman. Back in the 1990s, 14% of pacemakers that were being reused in Sweden were being reused in Sweden. It was only when they joined the EU that it actually ceased to exist. And actually, historically, pacemakers back in the early days were often taken out, batteries changed, and re-sterilised and re-implanted back into the individual. It's now, I think, it's a bit like a Western world problem where if your mobile phone breaks down, you typically throw it away. You don't think of fixing it. Whereas I think now with the kind of the economy, the way things are going, people are thinking about sustainability, reducing waste, and looking at other ways of kind of elongating the lifespan of individual items. And the pacemaker is no different. The average person in the developing world earns way under $500 a month. So for them, it's like inaccessible, unaffordable technology. What we're trying to do is give them the opportunity to get, Western world healthcare, that level, and alleviate them of their symptoms of cardiac arrhythmia, which is it's one of the biggest things in the world. So heart disease, which is which cardiac arrhythmia falls under, is actually growing by 130% between 1990 and 2020, and is actually the number one killer of people in the world today. We've been working with the NHS and the FDA, more specifically with the FDA at the moment. The FDA are wanting to vet our sterilisation protocol, so they're currently going through that at the moment to give us a thumbs up. They've also said that we need to get letters of approval from the Ministries of Health in any recipient countries, so that they're fully aware that these are processed, reused pacemakers. We've got letters of approval in Pakistan and Ghana, and we've actually scheduled our first implantation in Ghana at the beginning of July. And this is in conjunction, and most importantly, I must state this is in parallel with my partners, the University of Michigan. The University of Michigan are like the pioneers in the reuse of pacemakers. They've been doing 3 years worth of studies into the reuse of pacemakers, and have actually implanted reused pacemakers into patients as part of those studies. So this is, and what they've seen in part of their studies, that these pacemakers show the same kind of tests, same kind of statistics as a brand new pacemaker. The only difference being is there's a slightly reduced battery life. And what we're doing is we're targeting pacemakers with 70% battery life. A pacemaker can last up to 10 years. We're looking at something between 5 to 7 years and upwards. So in the UK and typically in the Western world, a pacemaker is actually the possession of a patient. But because a patient obviously passes away, and it's obviously odd circumstances to kind of approach the family, these pacemakers aren't claimed by the family and taken away and disposed of. So they often lay waste in cardboard boxes, in funeral parlours, mortuaries and hospitals worldwide. What we've had to do to address the law of ownership is create consent forms for family members or for patients to sign these, so they can donate them to our organisation, Pace for Life, so we can reuse them for research, recycling them for their metals, or actually reuse them by implanting them into patients. I've already got this consent form embedded into 43 funeral parlours in the UK, and I'm looking to expand that across the whole UK as a whole. And so far we've collected 433 pacemakers in a little under 3 months, and with 35,000 our annual target.
Okay, 35,000
annually we can target and actually collect. And of those, statistically what we're seeing is 20% are fit for human reuse.
So what are you looking for in your next stage of development for the
So I think the next step is to really just make sure that we get that first implantation done, and then we look to build out from that. Look to kind of build the end-to-end process, and then look to kind of push some of these things up further up the chain. So trying to get some of these consent forms potentially onto the organ donor register. Look to kind of partner with local hospitals in other countries, widen the scope in terms of countries that we're affecting, and also partner with international organisations who are embedded in those countries, who know the local playing field, know the politics, know how to kind of to identify the right patients, so we can really have the right cause and effect. We want to be self-funding. That's the goal. Because looking off gala dinners, charity donations isn't sustainable. We're looking at various options. Two of the options that come to mind are the recycling of pacemakers not fit for human reuse for their precious metals. So titanium shells, platinum, gold, and silver components can get us a bit of a rebate, maybe up to a few dollars per pacemaker. The second thing is to lobby the governments to sell pacemakers solely for the reuse in animals. Human pacemakers are actually reused in cats, dogs and horses worldwide. They don't actually have animal specific pacemakers. If we can sell that for a reasonable price, that will maybe something like a ratio of one pacemaker sold to an animal can maybe cover the cost of 2 to 3 operations for a human. But there's another idea around the wider cardiology space, but that's something that's been explored as current, and I think that will probably potentially span the other 75-80% of revenue that we'd need to kind of make this a truly sustainable business.
Can I ask how many people are you in your business?
I'm a sole founder,
okay.
But I have a number of advisors. I obviously have the University of Michigan, who have a parallel organisation, and we share learnings and any kind of experiences together. They have a reasonably large team. Alongside that, I have a number of doctors, about 3 or 4 doctors in the UK, and I'm hoping to get a couple of teaching hospitals in the UK on board. And I also have a couple of lawyers.
And the next step to scale?
Yeah, I think as needed. I mean, at this stage, it's fun. I think, yeah, it's kind of lean. It is charity, so it's smart to do that. It's kind of hard to find the right people to kind of commit the right amount of time. I currently am not working. I've made that commitment from March last year, so I've not been working since March last year.
So this is self-funded in that.
Yeah, and out of my own pocket.
Well, any other questions I should be asking that you haven't? I don't think so.
Unless you want to write me a check.